Hey, you know what's been bouncing around in my head lately? And actually, I was just picking the brain of Sean, the author of Zero Fitness Fucks. You know, that book that cuts through all the health and wellness
Oh,
noise.
yeah, great book. Really no nonsense approach.
Totally.
Yeah.
And even though this specific thing isn't in his book, we were chatting because the guy's got such a fantastic handle on all aspects of well-being. And the question is this: can we really consider sex a form of cardio?
Okay. That's a question.
I know, it might sound a little out there, maybe even a bit funny at first glance, but think about it for a second. What actually happens when you get down to it?
Right. What are the physiological effects?
Exactly. That's what we're digging into for you today. We're going to unpack the physical, the hormonal, and even the psychological angles to see if there's, well, a real argument to be made.
It's a question that definitely grabs your attention, doesn't it? And you're right, it's worth taking a closer look beyond the initial surprise.
Absolutely. Now, before we get our hearts racing too much, a quick word from our sponsor, Primus 3 Performance Enhancing Electrolytes. We'll be right back.
Stay hydrated, folks.
All right, welcome back. So let's get down to brass tacks. When we talk about cardio, or aerobic exercise as the sciencey folks call it, what are we actually talking about?
Well, for you listening, think about it as any activity that gets your heart pumping and keeps it elevated for a sustained period.
Hmm.
The usual suspects come to mind: running, swimming, cycling.
Maybe even dancing around your living room. We've all done it.
Yeah. What they all have in common is that they engage multiple muscle groups, and over time, they're great for your heart and lungs. Now, have you ever considered how, shall we say, more intimate activities might compare?
That's the key question we're exploring for you. When we put sex under the microscope of those basic cardio principles, some really interesting parallels start to emerge.
Exactly. Let's begin with the physical side of things. It's likely more of a workout for you than you might have initially thought.
That's what Sean was saying too in our chat. He was pointing out how many muscles are actually involved. You don't really think about it that way normally.
Well, what's fascinating here, from a physiological perspective, is the sheer number of muscles that get involved. It's not just one or two in isolation, depending on the positions and the intensity.
Right, intensity matters.
Core muscles are working for stability, your glutes are engaged for power, your arms might be supporting you, and even your legs get a workout. Your body isn't just lying there, it's actively participating.
That's right. You're definitely not just a passive observer. There's often a rhythm, sometimes quite an energetic one, and as a pretty clear sign, you can feel your heart rate picking up. You start to breathe a bit faster.
And these aren't just feelings. Studies have actually looked into this, and the calorie burn can be quite informative for you. The data suggests that the average man might expend around 100 calories,
100. Okay.
and the average woman around 70 during a typical sexual encounter.
Which, when you think about it, puts it right in the ballpark of a moderate intensity walk. So while it's not quite the same as, hitting the treadmill for an hour,
Not quite HII training, no.
huh, no, but you are definitely burning some energy.
Precisely. And it's not solely about the calorie expenditure for you. If we connect this to the broader picture of your cardiovascular health, that increased heart rate and those heavier breathing patterns are key indicators that your heart and lungs are getting a workout. This contributes to improved blood flow, a hallmark of aerobic exercise.
Okay, so physically, there's definitely something going on for you. But it's not just about the muscles and the ticker, right?
Right.
They're those feel-good chemicals that get released too.
Absolutely. This is where the hormonal aspect comes into play for you, and it's quite significant. Think about endorphins.
Ah, yes.
These are released during sex, and they're the same neurotransmitters, these chemical messengers in your brain, responsible for that runner's high people experience after intense exercise.
Right. That feeling of well-being.
And even euphoria isn't just in your head. It's driven by these chemicals.
The body's natural happy boosters. That makes sense to me. And then there's the famous cuddle hormone.
Yes, oxytocin. This hormone plays a vital role in emotional bonding and feelings of intimacy for you. But what's also really interesting is its effect on stress reduction. Research has indicated that oxytocin can help lower your levels of cortisol,
Cortisol, the stress hormone.
which is your body's primary stress hormone.
Yeah. So it's not just about feeling closer emotionally. It's actually having a physiological impact on your stress levels. That's really interesting for you to consider.
Hmm.
And Sean, when we were talking, he was particularly interested in the potential for a testosterone boost, even if it's a temporary one.
That's another intriguing point for you. While the effects can vary from person to person, there is evidence suggesting that sexual activity can lead to a temporary increase in testosterone.
And testosterone impacts. What again?
Well, as you likely know, testosterone plays a key role in energy levels, motivation, and even the process your body uses to repair and build muscle tissue, which is muscle protein synthesis, over the long term. So a little boost doesn't hurt.
Okay, so we've covered the physical workout and the hormonal perks for you. But you also mentioned the psychological benefits, which honestly sound pretty good on their own.
They truly are beneficial for you. Think about how you often feel after a satisfying, intimate experience. There's often a sense of relaxation, a release of built-up tension.
Definitely less stressed, usually.
Right. In that way, sex can act as a powerful mood regulator, potentially helping to decrease your anxiety and alleviate stress.
It's almost like hitting a reset button for your mind, isn't it?
That's a great analogy for you to keep in mind. You could even think of it as a sort of yoga class for your nervous system, a chance to let go of the mental clutter of the day, find a sense of being present in the moment, and experience a bit of mental clarity.
Yoga for the nervous system. I like that.
The focus and the intimacy can really pull you away from everyday stressors,
This is all painting a pretty convincing picture for you. But I'm guessing, just like with any kind of exercise, you can't really expect to see significant benefits from, well, minimal effort.
That's a crucial point for you to understand. Just as a leisurely stroll won't have the same impact on your cardiovascular system as a brisk run, the cardio benefits of sex are very dependent on the effort involved, the duration, and yes, even how consistently you engage in it.
Right.
As you humorously mentioned earlier, those very brief encounters, the quickies, probably aren't going to significantly improve your fitness levels.
Yeah, quickies don't count as HIIT. Got it.
No easy shortcuts to peak physical condition there, I'm afraid.
Right. No get-fit quick schemes in the bedroom. So if you're looking to really maximize the potential benefits here, what are some things you could focus on?
Well, for you, the first thing is to focus on being engaged. Approach it like you would any other form of exercise. Be present in the moment, be intentional with your movements, and try to, maintain the activity. Keep moving.
Be present, keep moving.
Okay. Secondly, the length of time seems to be important. Research suggests that aiming for longer sessions may be in the range of 45 minutes to an hour.
Wow, 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, it could lead to more noticeable cardiovascular benefits for you.
That's a decent chunk of time for you to dedicate. Definitely requires some commitment and stamina.
It certainly can. And just like you might vary your exercises if you go to a gym to challenge different muscle groups and avoid hitting a plateau.
Mix it up.
Introducing different positions and movements during sex can keep things physically engaging and work various parts of your body. Variety is key.
Makes sense. Keep the body guessing.
Finally, consistency is key for you. Engaging in sexual activity perhaps 2 or 3 times a week, when combined with a balanced lifestyle that includes other forms of exercise and healthy eating, of course, could certainly contribute to your overall fitness and sense of well-being.
Okay, some practical strategies for you there. Focus, duration, variety, consistency. Got it. Now, before we get to our final thoughts, we have another quick message from our sponsor, Primus 3 Performance-Enhancing Electrolytes, helping you stay hydrated and perform at your best.
Hydration is important, always.
Welcome back. So, having explored all of this with you, it's important to keep a balanced perspective. While the evidence suggests that sex can indeed offer cardiovascular and other health advantages, it's probably not a complete replacement for traditional exercise.
That's right. You probably shouldn't cancel your gym membership just yet based on this conversation, or toss out your running shoes.
Exactly. It's not going to build muscle mass in the same way that specific strength training will, right?
No, definitely not.
And it might not push your aerobic endurance to the same degree as going for, say, a long run or a hard swim.
So it's not a substitute for you, but rather
a fantastic addition. Or a supplement, maybe.
Wow.
Think of it as a fun, pleasurable, and deeply personal way for you to get your body moving, get your heart rate up, and give your mood a boost.
Yeah, it adds another interesting dimension to your overall wellness practices. It's movement, it's connection.
It's beneficial.
Exactly. So to revisit our initial question for you, can sex be considered cardio?
Based on what we've discussed, I think the answer for you is a nuanced, in many ways, yes. It definitely checks a lot of the boxes when we look at physical exertion, the release of hormones, and psychological well-being.
It ticks those boxes, for sure.
But it's not the whole picture for fitness.
Not the whole picture, no. But, and this is important, if it encourages you to be more active, more connected with a partner, and more in tune with your own body, both physically and emotionally. Well, that sounds like a pretty significant win across the board.
Absolutely. It really highlights for you how interconnected our physical, emotional, and relational health truly are. It's not all separate silos.
It certainly does. Holistic well-being, really.
Well, this has definitely given me, and hopefully you, a fresh way to think about things.
Yeah.
So as you go about your day, consider this. How might thinking about intimacy, not just as a source of connection and pleasure, but also as a form of mindful movement, actually shift your perspective, both your relationships and your overall well-being? Mindful movement.
It's definitely something for you to think about.
Indeed. It raises a really interesting point for you to consider about how we define and approach physical activity in our lives. Maybe broaden that definition a bit. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, you. Until next time.
Take care.